Origin Gens, one Suji reaction, and this is Genghis Khan, Beginnings of the Great Mongol Nation, Extra History Part 5 of the channel Extra Credits. Yeah, we saw the fourth part, the Khan of Khans, where Genghis Khan became, I guess, the leader of somewhat of Mongols, I guess. There wasn't much of a Mongol empire before this. It was usually Khans and tribes, so I don't think there was, as far as I realized, that there is no one unified Mongol state or something like that. So I guess, he just conquered as much as territory as he could. I guess there's still some people left that, those people with yellow clothes that he saws. I forgot the name. He's gonna fight them, I guess, in this video. But I guess by now he's the emperor of Mongolia or something like that, Khan of Khans or whatever. So yeah, I don't know when he's gonna change his name to Genghis Khan or Genghis Khan, how it goes. Right now he's still Temujin Khan, I guess. In the description of the man now known as Genghis Khan. Did he change his name? Oh, I didn't know that. Alright, remember people, if you like my reaction, don't forget to like and subscribe, check out the reaction, there's a link in the description, check out the cards, please check out the end cards, and yeah, let's do this one.
1 year after defeating his greatest rival, Temujin Khan summoned the greatest and most important Kurultai in Mongolian history. After many days of ceremony and ritual, and many nights of celebration, Temujin is elected Khan of all Mongols, and chooses a new title for himself, Genghis Khan. At the age of 45, Genghis Khan controlled a vast territory and over 1 million souls. His domain stretched from the Gobi.
Yeah, so he just became Genghis Khan now. But what, he didn't give the detail why he chose that name? I mean, why did he become Genghis Khan though? He was Temujin Khan, why did he change his name? I thought, there would be some backstory about that, I guess. Yeah.
Desert in the south to the Arctic tundra in the north, from the Manchurian forests in the east to the Altai mountains to the west. He named his new people the Great Mongol Nation. He abolished inherited aristocratic titles, criminalized the abduction or enslavement of any Mongol, forbade the selling and kidnapping of women, declared all children born of Mongol parents to be legitimate, and made livestock theft punishable by death. He ordered the adoption of a writing system,
What? Livestock stealing punishable by death. I guess the mentality there being like people can go, starve or something. His army could starve if people just steals animals like that. So I guess he had to make that punishable by death. But damn, that is just heavy. I remember watching that Conan's segment about Clueless Gamer where he played Skyrim. I remember him just saying like, I just attacked a chicken in the Skyrim video. I just attacked a chicken. I didn't deserve to die. But historically, apparently, you are supposed to die. If you attack livestock, you probably die then. Because that's the case here. That is just ridiculous, man. And, I don't know if there was, one unified country as Mongolia or something. Or like, it was like, just tribes and things here and there. Different type of nobilities and things. There was no one unified Mongolia or something. I don't know that. But now it feels like there's true unified Mongolia under Genghis Khan, because he abolished all nobility and everything. He put his rules and regulation everywhere, his laws and things everywhere. So I guess now it is truly one unified empire, that is Mongolia under Genghis Khan.
Conducted a census and instituted diplomatic immunity and freedom of religion, exempting all religious leaders and their property from taxation and public service. Eventually, he extended this tax exemption to anybody who provided essential public services, including undertakers, doctors, lawyers, teachers, and scholars. With the nomadic tribes united and Genghis Khan
What? He did that? Damn, he had real political mind, man. I've been saying that from the start. Look at that. I mean, he's strengthening his empire in a way. If you, if you help your, I guess your workers of the main government workers, something where they provide real public services like undertakers and things like that, and you give them this kind of exempt of taxes and things like that. It's a real incentive to be something like that. It's a real incentive to become a public servant that could actually help people. That is really important because even though people don't think this, but in the battlefield, whenever people go to battle, people get injured, then they realize, oh, wait a minute, there are not many doctors here. People die. Oh, look at that. There is, there are not much of undertakers here. We have dead bodies that we can't bury. These are real issues that people face. Obviously, nobody's going to talk about it in the videos because it's usually a summary of things. But these are real issues. I guess Genghis Khan thought of that. Like, okay, if I'm going to make this country a functioning country, I have to strengthen all the core utilities and tools of it, which is all the workers that actually make sure the country goes on, like all the undertakers and all the political leaders, whatever, whoever does some kind of a public service. I have to help them, so people are encouraged to become that more.
Established as their leader, his next step wasn't clear. He had spent so many years locked in conflict with Jamaica and Ongkan that now his enormous tribe lacked a mission. So he turned his gaze beyond the steppe. And
see, this is the thing. This is one of the biggest thing the lots of leader faces, right? I mean, survive, defeat rivals, stay in war, conquer territories, and then profit. Because this is where governing comes into play, right? Even the people like Alexander the Great and everybody, usually faces this. There's a reason why Alexander the Great conquered rather than ruling certain places and keep conquering, and then just died and his empire fell apart. Because it's a completely different thing to, I guess, conquer things and just stay there, keep the places and rule actual places. The way his political mind is, I'm sure he can easily do that. But right now, the question is, he defeated his rivals and enemies. He won the wars. Now he's supposed to just make profits and rule over places. But I guess he's gonna do what everybody does, like how Catherine did in her time, Catherine of Russia. Where she basically just like, okay, you know what, this is getting hard. I'm surrounded by idiots. You know what? Let's just conquer more places. Let's make more wars.
Enormous tribe lacked a mission. So he turned his gaze beyond the steppe and engaged in a series of raids against the Tangut Empire in what is now Western China. Unlike the nomadic steppe tribes, the Tangut had walled cities, moats, and fortresses. Their armies were nearly twice the size of Genghis Khan's. In these campaigns, he had to adopt new methods of warfare to adapt to these conditions. He quickly learned classic siege techniques, such as cutting off his enemy's food supply, but soon began experimenting with new tactics. On one raid, he attempted to divert a nearby river to flood the city. Despite scant experience in engineering, the Mongols did succeed in diverting the river, but they wiped out their own camp instead of the Tangut. They survived the mistake, though.
That is Genghis, even he drowned. Well, this is something, isn't it? I mean, Mongolians so far has been this tribal, nomadic people, right? Huts and everything. Now they come across this castle type of fort type of things, with all the defenses and things. One would think while looking at the site, like, these tribal people conquered their places, sure. But now they are facing forts and everything. I guess they are, I guess this is out of, their usual, area, I guess, They are not strong enough to take down the forts or something. But apparently Genghis Khan is going to take down all of them. Because even though he never encountered forts in his, conquest of Mongolia or something, he's still going to show that, yeah, we are hut people, we are tribal people, but we are strong enough to take down any foe, however advanced they are, forts and everything.
And went on to conquer the city. And with every siege, the Mongols would learn, and eventually become experts at devastating enemy cities. Until this point, not many people outside of Mongolia had taken much notice of the upstart barbarian chief, or his newly proclaimed nation. This was about to change. In 1210, when Genghis Khan was 48, the Jerched nation sent a delegation from their capital city of Zhengdu, where modern-day Beijing now lies. Ongkan.
That's what I was talking about. Everybody didn't notice what Genghis Khan is doing, because regardless of what he's doing, it's like, some tribal man killing his own tribal man, taking over some huts. Why do I care about those mud hut people, right? But now he's taking down forts and people are like, oh shit, I guess we underestimated him.
Khan had previously sworn allegiance to them, so now they came to demand the submission of Genghis Khan. Upon hearing this order, Genghis Khan turned in the direction of their nation to the south, spat on the ground, unleashed a line of insults, and then mounted his horse and rode north, leaving the stunned envoy choking in his dust. The Mongol army advanced to the south, sending squads of soldiers ahead to scout for decent pasture, seek out water sources, and report on weather conditions. Their previous raids in the Tangut Empire turned out to be a perfect practice for their campaign against their Jerched neighbors. Desert crossings and siege warfare were now solved problems. And the Mongols had another surprising advantage: their diet. Traditional armies traveled in long columns with massive supply trains. The Mongols, in contrast, spread out over a vast area to provide sufficient pasture for their animals, and each warrior hunted for himself or carried his own individual supplies. Though dispersed, the Mongols' strict decimal organization system was diligently enforced, such that each unit, with its own doctors and commanders, always knew where to report and how to find what they needed. And because most of the Mongol army was
Yeah, this unit system that he created is a real military brilliance, right? Especially of his time. And in a way, it created this automation type of thing in his own units, where everybody hunts for their own food, take care of the unit, at certain length. I mean, that is a great leap forward, because anytime anybody assembles any army, obviously they are not in units, they are one mass of army of people just marching towards someplace. There is always a real issues like how you're going to feed the army and all the logistic behind it. Everybody has to think about that. That is a real issue. Before marching to any place, people have to think about this, like we'll be able to feed the army throughout this journey, how we are going to resupply, restock and everything, supply chains and shit like that. Well, Genghis Khan literally eliminated that with his tactics here.
illiterate and communication across such a large area was critical, the officers came up with a novel solution. Orders were composed in rhyme to ensure that messages were easily memorized and repeated to each new person exactly as they were originally spoken. The Mongols also launched propaganda campaigns to break the spirit of the Jerched people, claiming that the Mongols were coming as a liberating force to free them from the oppressive royal family. More than a few Jerched defected to join him.
I mean, how he rose up, Genghis Khan, I mean, that makes sense, like how the propaganda would work. Like Genghis Khan did the same shit in his home country or wherever, where he united the tribes that way, like screw all this nobleman bullshit. People's character matters, not the who's noble and who's not.
In the end, they found victory by transforming the Jerched's greatest asset, their large population, into a weakness. They terrorized the countryside and conscripted local peasants, clearing out all the surrounding villages before turning their sights to the larger cities, using peasants as human shields. Rounding up an enemy's herds and stampeding them toward their owners' battle lines was a traditional steppe tactic, but the Mongols modified this old classic by using enemy peasants instead,
Oh shit, this is where, the Genghis Khan that everybody knows of comes out, right? I guess he's outside of his territory. Now he's attacking foreign land. So I guess he doesn't have the same mentality he had when he was, uniting his own tribes, where he was just, caring for the common people and just enlisting them into his own tribe, into one big tribe. No, now it's just, I guess, foreign land. Who cares? So he doesn't care about the people or anything. He's doing heinous thing here, using them as the shield and everything. Damn, now the more, effed up side of Genghis Khan is coming out.
Attacking and burning undefended villages and sending terrified peasants fleeing in all directions, clogging highways and making it difficult for the Jerched supply caravans to move. Over the course of the campaign, more than 1 million refugees fled the countryside and poured into the cities, causing chaos and food shortages. The Jerched military ended up executing tens of thousands of their own people just to maintain enough food stores to feed their armies.
What the
During
fuck?
this campaign, Genghis Khan discovered that Chinese engineers had developed powerful machines to batter city walls from afar. To adapt these massive war machines to fit his mobile army, he began hosting a corps of engineers on every campaign, who would...
I guess the most terrifying sight in any battlefield or anywhere is Genghis Khan doing this. Because we know he's gonna adapt to something new and it's gonna be terrifying.
Camp in the forests close to target cities and cut down enough wood to build siege engines on the spot. In 1214, despite some difficulties adapting to the hot, damp climate, Genghis Khan finally besieged the capital city of Chengdu. The Jerched had endured so much strife by then that they quickly agreed to a settlement, rather than face a prolonged siege. In return for Mongol withdrawal, the Jerched leader, known as the Golden Khan, swore allegiance to Genghis Khan, and offered massive amounts of silk, silver, gold, horses, and people.
See, by now, understand why Mongols were so powerful, because the way Genghis Khan, reshaped everything. He created some form of a military state where everybody should just care for, the good of the country in a way, and military type of mentality. Everybody is about unit, no nobility, no nothing. It's all about the unit. It's all about the, caring for your army, caring for your nations above anything else type of thing. It's type of, somewhat of a militarized type of state, right? So now everybody, is, nobody has their own personal goal in a way, because in order for have to any personal gain, they have to, win battles and things. In that way they can gain things. Like if they loot something, Genghis Khan takes all the things and then redistribute, and everything that Genghis Khan implemented so far, so it becomes some kind of a militarized state. So obviously that's way dangerous, because everybody has this, this military tactics mind, this unit strategy and everything. That is just dangerous, right? Because every other state have noblemen and things like that, and then they have some army, and they have some form of tactics. But nobody thinks this militarized way if it's not a militarized state so far. So this is like, that how Prussia was like. Their saying goes like, every state has an army, but Prussian army has a state. This Mongolia feels like that now. So if you have something like that, of course it's going to be overpowering.
As soon as the Mongols left, however, the Golden Khan and his entire royal court fled, hoping to get far enough away to escape the reach of the Mongol army. Genghis Khan saw this as a breach of their agreement and returned to sack the capital. This time, Genghis Khan offered no opportunity to negotiate. They looted the city according to the new Mongol law. They took absolutely everything, inventoried it, and distributed it amongst the army. As a final punishment, as the Mongol warriors retreated to their homeland, they churned up the earth behind them and trampled it with their horses. Genghis Khan wanted to ensure that the peasants never returned to their fields. Besides, this way he could convert the land to open pasture, both to feed his newly captured livestock and to allow easier access in future campaigns in the region. But in the years that Genghis Khan had been raiding abroad, trouble had begun to brew at home. Some of his most steadfast followers, the Muslim Uyghurs of the desert oases, supported him so strongly that other Uyghurs living further to the west, in modern-day Kyrgyzstan and Kazakhstan, wished to overthrow their Buddhist rulers and join Genghis Khan as well. Some sent envoys to Mongol lands seeking an alliance, but others were under the control of Kuchlug, the son of the Naiman Khan who had harbored Jamaica. In his new position of power, Kuchlug began to persecute his Muslim subjects, forbidding the call to prayer, public worship, or Muslim religious study. Without a ruler to protect them, the Muslim Uyghurs turned to Genghis Khan to overthrow their oppressor. Although the Mongol army...
Okay, so why would it do that? That feels like one of the most stupid moves you can make. At the time where Genghis Khan is seen as this liberator of Uyghurs, the Muslim population, at that time you're going to suppress your population of Uyghurs. So what? They now definitely supports Genghis Khan and creates weakness inside your own walled city, so it becomes easier for Genghis Khan to, siege your city. What's the mentality there? What's the point of doing that? It's just like you're giving things to Genghis Khan by doing that.
He was thousands of miles away. Genghis Khan sent 20,000 soldiers under the command of one of his generals to defend the Muslims. And because they were engaging in this campaign at the request of their allies, this time they did not raid or loot the capital city, but instead simply defeated the army, beheaded Kuchlug, and returned home, leaving behind a herald to proclaim the restoration of religious freedom in the land. Most importantly to Genghis Khan, this victory ensured complete control over the Silk Road between the Chinese and the Muslims. Although he didn't control the Sung dynasty, where silk was produced, or the primary purchasing areas in the Middle East, he rerouted the twisting channels of the Silk Road into one large stream over the course of his campaign, and directed it through the Mongol steppes. So much silk passed through his land that the Mongols even started using it as a packing material. Suddenly, life on the steppe looked very different than it had before. Rawhide ropes were exchanged for silk cords. Fur and leather clothes were replaced with robes embroidered in silver and gold. Yurts were decorated with silk rugs, pillows, and blankets. Perfume, makeup, jewelry, board games, paper fans, incense, honey, wine, and tea became commonplace. Skilled artisans, scholars, and entertainers from across Genghis Khan's empire contributed their art, science, and culture to Mongol society. The
There you
Muslims
go.
in the region, from
As
the
soon as you have powerful empire and rich empire, art, science, and everything comes out eventually. All the artists comes out. But yeah.
mountains of modern Afghanistan to the Black Sea, produced steel, the finest of all metals, as well as cotton and glass. Genghis Khan wanted these novel luxuries also. He sent ambassadors to the Sultan with gifts, approaching not as a conqueror, but as an ally, seeking an equal trade agreement. With great suspicion, the Sultan accepted. Genghis Khan sent hundreds of merchants from his newly acquired territories in caravans laden with goods to trade. As soon as the caravan entered their territory, however, a local official seized the goods and killed the merchants, completely unaware of the incredible mistake he had just made.
Oh
When
shit.
Genghis Khan heard of this, he sent envoys to the Sultan asking him to punish the man responsible for the attack. Instead, the Sultan doubled down and killed some of the Mongol envoys, maiming the others and sending them back to the
Ooh. So I don't think the guy was unaware when he killed that, the transport. Because I think Sultan wanted to screw Genghis Khan over just to, I guess, flex over him or something. So he agreed. It's just so the transport would come there and then he can kill the guy there to send a message. And when the envoy comes, obviously he's gonna kill them too. So I guess he was literally telling Genghis Khan to screw himself. I don't think that was just unaware mistake.
Khan. Genghis Khan was furious.
Shit.
So enraged was he.
I mean, obviously at the time, all the things Genghis Khan did was, I wouldn't say that it's a beginning of Genghis Khan because he already done lots of shit that should scare people, even the people in power in lots of different places. Because all the thing Genghis Khan so far did, unifying entire Mongolia, rerouting the Silk Road, sieging cities and everything, and the way he's doing things, that should terrify most leaders, right? Even if somebody doesn't go back down by weakness, they would still be like, okay, let's not screw with this guy. The Sultan, was that egotistical kind of guy. He was like, screw him, I'm much better. Obviously, in the later days, Genghis Khan would become the Genghis Khan, one of the most deadliest men of all time, who had one of the largest empire of all time. He's not that right now. But, imagine if Sultan had known that by then, like who Genghis Khan really is. And then he realized, oh, wait a minute, I'll screw with this guy. That is just effed up, man. Screwing with Genghis Khan, really?
By this insult that he withdrew once again to his sacred mountaintop to pray and decide on a course of action. After 3 days of contemplation,
Decide on course of action, really? All the people in his empire, like, where is Genghis Khan? He's in the mountain trying to decide. Decide? Just ready all the all the army and everybody. The decision's already made. We are definitely invading that place. Genghis Khan going there. I'm not here to decide. I'm just here to think how I'm going to crush those assholes right there. How viciously I'm going to crush them. I'm thinking that.
he descended with his intentions set. The Mongols were going to war.
No shit. Yeah. Alright people, that was Genghis Khan, beginning of the great Mongol nation. Yeah, he rerouted the Silk Road and everything, yeah. This was the channel of Extra Credits. If you like my reaction, don't forget to like, subscribe, check out the Sunday. This is a link in the description. Check out the cast for the different playlists like History, Old Sakash Brooks, Internet Student, CGP Grey, Tier Zoo. Check out the end cast too. And, if you like me to react to any other video, I guess comment down as well. And I'll see you next time.